Good morning, I'm Brother Jason, and this is the Baptist Catechism. Today's question, number 86, asks, what is required in the 10th commandment? Thou shalt not covet. What's required in that? The answer? The 10th commandment requires contentment with our own condition and a right and charitable frame of spirit toward our neighbor and all that is his. Contentment or covetousness. It's one or the other. We're either going to be content with what God has blessed us with, or we're going to covet what we don't have. Let's take a look at some verses in the Bible here. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5 tells us, make sure that your character is free from the love of money, being content with what you have. For he himself has said, I will never desert you, never will I forsake you. So don't love money. Don't lust after more and more and more. Make sure your character is free from the love of money. Be content with what you have. Make wise choices in your spending. Don't take on unnecessary debt. Be content with where you are. Just be content. Character. It's a character issue. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6. But godliness is actually a means of great gain when accompanied by contentment. If we're just content with where God has us and we're pursuing a life of godliness, it's a means of great gain. You'll be so blessed because then you won't be worried about trying to pay something off that you can't afford or lusting after something you don't need. I fear a lot of Americans following the American dream have gone off into unnecessary things that have ruined their life. Be content. Be content. Godliness is a means of great gain when accompanied with contentment. Contentment is so powerful. Romans chapter 12, verse 15. Rejoice with those who rejoice, and weep with those who weep. Someone get a raise? Why don't you rejoice with them? Somebody wins something, somebody gets something that's new and they're enjoying it, rejoice with them. Don't envy them, just rejoice with them. Celebrate what they're celebrating. Somebody lose something? Why don't you weep with them? And just be in all parts of life with those people. Be content with what you have, but help those who are going through whatever, rejoicing or weeping that they might be going through. It's a character issue of contentment, that you're content with where you are and you rejoice with others who are rejoicing and you weep with those who are weeping, whether they gain or loss in their life, and you're helping in that. You're just being content and you're helping others. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, love is patient, love is kind, it is not jealous. Love does not brag, it is not arrogant, does not act unbecomingly, does not seek its own, is not provoked, does not take into account a wrong suffered, does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. You see, love is the summation of the commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. If we do these two, we fulfilled the whole law. If you love your neighbor, you're not going to covet what they have. You're going to rejoice with them. The patience of love, the kindness of love. It's not jealous. It's not bragging or arrogant or seeking its own. It's not looking for a way to get what's not yours. You are rejoicing with those who have, and you're weeping with those who do not. You're helping others in the process. You're not seeking your own. You're not taking into account a wrong suffered. Love covers all sins. Love goes a long way in this. And really, love is the crux of this. If you love the Lord your God and you love your neighbor, you're not going to covet what they have. You're going to be content with what the Lord has given you. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. You shall not hate your fellow countrymen in your heart. You may surely reprove your neighbor, but shall not incur sin because of him. There's a lot of people who have property line disputes and other issues. Yes, reprove your neighbor if they've sinned against you, but don't sin against them. Don't hate somebody just because they're next to you. We need to deal with this issue of hate. A lot of people have hatred toward their neighbors. Maybe their neighbors actually did them wrong. Maybe there's a perceived wrong. Maybe it's a covetousness issue where one of them wants more of the property line than the other. Solve that quickly so that hate doesn't dwell in your heart and become this evil thing that just ruins all things. Don't hate your fellow countrymen. Question 86. What is required in the 10th commandment? The answer? The 10th commandment requires contentment with our own condition, a right and charitable frame of spirit toward our neighbor and all that is his.